Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something really quite fundamental to our modern world,
Hmm.
the global market for high voltage measuring equipment. I've got a new report here, and honestly, it's packed with some fascinating stuff about a sector you might not think about every day.
That's right. I mean, everything runs on electricity now, doesn't it? And behind the scenes, you have these massive high voltage
The
systems.
invisible backbone.
Exactly. And like any complex system, they need monitoring. That's what this equipment does. It's basically the health check for the grid and also for powerful electronic devices. Keeps things safe, prevents damage.
Yeah, stops things going boom, essentially. Keeps the lights on, keeps your devices running smoothly. So our mission today, for you listening, is to pull out the key insights from this pretty detailed report, give you a shortcut to understanding what's happening now and what's coming next.
Okay.
So let's kick off with a big number straight away, the global market. It's projected to hit, get this, USD 1934.8 million in 2025.
Wow, nearly 2 billion.
Yeah. And it's expected to grow quite a bit, reaching about USD 300 and 581.1 million by 2033.
Okay, so significant growth there.
Definitely. That works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 8.00%.
8%. That's solid, consistent growth over almost a decade.
Right. And just for context, the report uses 2024 as the base year, historical data back to 2021, and forecasts from 2025 out to 2033.
Got it. And that 8% CAGR, it's not just about the money, is it? It really points to this increasing need for better tools to manage our power systems as they get more complex.
Absolutely. It's a long-term thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's actually driving this growth? The report points to a few key things. First one, and it's a bit sobering, is safety.
Electricity-related accidents.
Exactly. Unfortunately, there's still a major issue, and that fuels the demand for better safety measures, better monitoring. The U.S. data is quite stark, actually.
Yeah.
Between 2011 and 2023, 1,940 workplace fatalities involving electricity. That averages out to about 149 deaths a year.
That's a lot.
It is. And here's the kicker. 74%, nearly three-quarters, were in non-electrical jobs. People who weren't electricians.
Wow. That really highlights it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just about protecting the specialists. It's about anyone who might come into contact with these systems.
Precisely. Suggests a need for maybe simpler, more foolproof equipment, too.
Could be. Or at least very robust safety features built in. It definitely pushes the need for reliable measurement across the board.
Okay, driver number 2. Technology itself. Just like everywhere else, tech is advancing fast here, too.
Right. We're seeing kit that's more accurate, more efficient, and crucially, safer.
Things like smart sensors, IoT integration.
Exactly. Internet of Things enabled devices, so you can monitor things remotely, in real time, get data constantly. That's a game changer for maintenance.
How so?
Well, instead of waiting for something to break, you can spot potential issues early. Predictive maintenance, saves money, prevents outages, and enhances safety. Big improvements all around.
Makes sense. And the third big driver. This one's probably top of mind for a lot of people listening.
Let me guess. Renewables.
You got it. The massive global push towards renewable energy. Solar, wind, integrating all that into the grid. That needs sophisticated high-voltage measuring.
Yeah, absolutely. Renewables often have different characteristics, variable output, sometimes located far from where the power is needed.
Right.
So you need to manage that integration carefully. Lots of investment needed in grid upgrades, and measurement is key to making sure it all works together safely and efficiently.
Okay, so strong drivers, but it can't all be smooth sailing. What about the challenges? The report calls them market restraints.
Well, the big one is often cost, especially for the really advanced stuff.
The initial investment.
Yeah. High upfront costs can be a barrier, particularly for, say, smaller companies or utilities maybe working with tighter budgets. They might hesitate to adopt the latest tech, even if it pays off long term.
Understandable. Anything else holding things back?
There's also the skills gap. This equipment is getting more sophisticated, right? So you need people who actually know how to operate it properly, interpret the data, maintain it. Finding enough skilled personnel can be a real bottleneck.
Right, the human factor. Okay, so drivers and restraints. Let's shift to trends. What are the big movements shaping the market's future?
One major trend is energy storage. Think big batteries, pumped hydro storage, that sort of thing.
Crucial for balancing renewables, right?
Exactly. And connecting these large storage systems to the grid requires, you guessed it, high voltage measuring equipment. It's becoming a really significant area. There was even a U.S.-India task force set up back in October 2022 just to speed up energy storage deployment.
Interesting. So storage growth directly pulls demand for this equipment. What else?
Just the general ongoing expansion and upgrading of power infrastructure worldwide.
Because demand keeps rising.
Yeah, rising energy demand, more people living in cities, industrial growth. It all means we need more power lines, bigger substations, better grids. And all of that new or upgraded kit needs measuring equipment.
Okay, let's get into the geography. The report breaks it down by region. Who's the biggest player right now, based on the 2025 estimates?
That would be North America, holding the largest share, actually over 40%.
40%, wow.
Yeah, market size estimated around USD 715.88 million for 2025.
Okay. And their growth rate, that 8% overall CAGR you mentioned. How does North America stack up?
A bit slower, actually. Their projected CAGR from 2025 to 2033 is more like 6.5%.
Okay. Still growing, but not leading the pack in terms of speed.
Right. Within that, the U.S. is the giant, but USD 564.83 million, market size 6.3% CAGR. Canada's smaller, around USD 85.91 million, but slightly faster growth at 7.3%.
Got it. So North America leads on size. What about Europe?
Europe's also very significant. Over
Yeah.
30% share globally. That's about USD 561.09 million in 2025.
And their growth.
Projected at 7.0% CAGR, so a little faster than North America overall. Key players there are the UK around USD 94.26 million, growing at 7.8%. And Germany, bigger market size at USD 111.18 million, growing at 7.2%.
Okay, so North America and Europe are the established giants. But where's the fastest growth happening? You mentioned the overall average was 8%.
Yeah, the real speed demon is Asia Pacific, APAC.
Okay. What's their story?
They hold around 23% share currently, estimated USD 464.35 million for 2025, but their projected CAGR, a whopping 10.8%.
10.8%. That's significantly higher.
It really is. It's the fastest growth globally, driven by, massive infrastructure projects, rapid industrialization, huge energy demand increases.
Makes sense. Any specific countries driving that in APAC?
Definitely. China's a huge part of it. Market size around USD 195.03 million, growing at 10.3%. But look at India's smaller market now, about USD 46.44 million, but its projected CGR is an incredible 12.7%.
12.7. Wow, that really does paint a picture of rapid development in India's energy sector.
It certainly does.
What about the other regions, briefly?
Sure. South America holds just over 5%, about USD 73.52 million, growing at 8.7%. Brazil's the key market there, 9.3% CGR. Middle East is smaller, around 2% share, USD 77.39 million, but also strong growth at 9.3% CAGR. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are notable there, growing even faster.
Right.
And Africa holds about 1%, roughly USD 42.57 million, growing at 8.3%. South Africa is a key player, showing 9.2% growth.
It's fascinating how varied those growth rates are. Really shows the different stages of development and investment across the globe. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Talk about the actual types of equipment. What's the dominant product out there?
The report says the capacitive voltage transformer, or CVT, is the main one right now.
CVT. Okay, what does that do?
Think of it like a safe way to step down really high voltages to levels you can actually measure easily. Uses capacitors. They're like the standard workhorse in power grids for voltage measurement. Reliable, widely used.
Got it. The established tech. So what's growing fastest then if CVT is dominant?
That would be the potential transformer, or PT.
PT, okay.
Yeah, this segment's picking up speed fast. Why? Because you need really precise voltage measurements for newer things like integrating renewables, building smart grids, other advanced stuff. As those areas grow, so does the demand for accurate PTs.
Right. Precision matters more in those complex systems. Okay, what about voltage levels? Are we talking about specific ranges?
We are. The biggest slice of the market right now is extra high voltage. That's EHV.
EHV. What kind of voltage is that?
We're talking 401 kilovolts up to 800 kilovolts. Huge amounts.
Wow. And where is that used?
That's your main transmission backbone. Long-distance power lines connecting big regions, major power plants, also crucial for hooking up those large-scale renewable projects.
Okay, so EHV is the biggest market share. Which range is expanding fastest?
That's the high voltage segment, so step down, generally 35 kilovolts up to 400 kilovolts.
Okay, it's still very high voltage.
Oh, yeah. But this range is more common for regional power distribution, getting electricity into cities, supplying larger industrial sites. It's growing rapidly, possibly because it's maybe a bit more cost-effective for those sorts of applications.
Makes sense. How about the type of current, AC versus DC?
Well, alternating current, AC, is still king. It dominates the market.
Because our grids are mostly AC.
Exactly.
Right.
The vast majority of existing power infrastructure, transmission, distribution, it's all built around AC. So naturally, most measuring equipment is for AC.
I'm sensing a but. DC must be growing with solar and all that.
You got it. Direct current DC is the fastest growing segment here. It's directly tied to hooking up all those DC-based renewables like solar panels, some wind turbines, and maybe future things like HVDC transmission lines.
Right, the grid is slowly evolving. Okay, final segmentation, applications.
Ah.
Where is this equipment actually used? Largest segment.
That's power generation, specifically within substations.
At the source, basically.
Pretty much. Monitoring and controlling the output from power plants. Absolutely vital, especially as you add more variable sources like wind and solar into the mix.
Okay, makes sense. And the fastest growing application area?
That would be the industrial category.
Factories, manufacturing plants.
Exactly. More and more industries need high-voltage measuring kit to monitor their own internal electrical systems. Think about increased automation, robotics, stricter safety rules.
Yeah.
It all drives demand for better electrical monitoring within industrial facilities.
Okay, brings us to the companies making all this stuff. Sounds like a busy market. Competitive.
Oh, definitely. Highly competitive. You've got the big global giants and also more specialized regional players.
Who are some of the names the report mentions?
Well, you've got the familiar big ones like ABB, Siemens, Schneider Electric, GE Grid Solutions. Also companies like BHEL, CG Power, Shanghai Electric Group. It's a global field.
Any recent examples of innovation or product launches mentioned?
Yeah, a couple stood out. TDK introduced some high-voltage contactors specifically for DC applications back in April 2023. That lines up with the DC growth trend we talked about. And Keysight launched a battery pack test system, the ScienLab SL1700A, back in August 2021, designed for testing high-voltage EV batteries. Shows the link to other growing sectors, too.
Right, connecting to EVs and battery tech. Okay, so wrapping things up, the big picture seems to be a market that's already substantial, but definitely growing strongly.
Absolutely. Driven by, well, the fundamentals. Meeting safer systems, better technology becoming available, and this huge shift towards renewable energy.
And we're seeing different speeds across the world, right? North America leading in size now, but Asia Pacific really pushing the growth rate.
Precisely. And different segments within the market, product types, voltage levels, applications, they're all evolving too. Lots of moving parts.
It really is a dynamic space. So to leave our listeners with something to chew on.
Yeah. Here's a final thought for you. Our energy systems are just getting more and more complex, right? And the need for safety, for efficiency, it's only going up. So how might the next wave of breakthroughs in high-voltage measurement technology change how we manage power? Could it totally revolutionize things in ways we haven't even thought of yet? What new applications might pop up beyond just managing the grid as we know it today?
That's a great question to ponder. What comes next? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the high-voltage measuring equipment market.
And fascinating.
Until next time, keep digging deeper.